Only one power and one presence in the universe, God the Good, all power, ever present, all knowing, and we are one. And our vision statement, we are a spiritual community with a passion to share love, faith, and hope. And our mission statement, We are an accepting, loving, and faith-filled spiritual community that honors all paths to God. Sandra is not with us this morning. She is resting and recovering, and we would thank you for prayers for Sandra. I'll introduce Luann.
Good morning. This is the third in the series of the 12 Powers of Man. The disciple is Andrew. The color is yellow, and the area of our body is the lower back, and the color itself indicates our will or our solar plexus. What I'm going to speak about today is in addition to all of the good things that Sandra has said previously. This comes from a Unity Classic radio broadcast from June of 2015. It was a 1913 Charles Fillmore sermon. The name of it is The Consciousness of Spiritual Strength. Charles Fillmore was a big one on using the power of our mind to focus in how it affects our physiology. A point that he realized is that at the base of the brain, it was known about the vagus nerve. It's the longest nerve in our body, and that since it is at the seat of the brain, his belief was how we were thinking would send impulses throughout our body. And during this sermon, he gave a physical demonstration to the audience. So, I'd like you to close your eyes for a moment and just think some thoughts. We're going to do these briefly. It's not going to make a difference. Why should I try? I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, whatever. Just feel that in your body. That, and now you can open your eyes. That is what the originators of unity decided that they were going to transform and make a difference. And from Myrtle Fillmore's healing through her positive prayer, as Charles saw the results, he got on her bandwagon, and being a promoter and a business person, he thought, we've got to get this to more people. So that's where he came in and started. Knowledge comes from the idea of where you perceive a fact or truth, married with a sense of action where you practice it. So knowledge is a bit of information that you have and you put it into your life. So this next experience, I'd like people to stand up, close your eyes, and feel the earth under your feet. And as you have your eyes closed, I would like you to state to yourself silently, God is the ever-present source of strength within me. I am strong. God is the ever-present source of strength within me. I am strong. Okay, just breathe in and open your eyes. And feel that within your being. Isn't that great? That's what Charles Fillmore was talking about, getting that state within us of strength. That God is the source of our strength. God is within us, and we are strong. And that is this month. Wisdom is gained over time by applying knowledge. So our human life is a place that has these 12 departments, and he called those the 12 powers. So this week, as you're thinking about your life, it would be a good thing to ponder, in the department of strength in my life, what are some facets in my files in my department of strength? One, for myself, a component of strength also brings up confidence. So it might be something that we could introduce in Insights. Also, there's a 12 Powers of Man workbook in the bookstore that I'm going to be using. So have fun with your 12 powers, and thank you.
I'd like to say our blessing together of tithes and offering. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. I'd just like to say that there are so many gifts, and the gifts of someone stepping in for Sandy was much appreciated. And of course, our music, which is such a large and beautiful portion of our experience here in this space. Dave is going to do a musical rendition of the Lord's Prayer. And following that, our speaker today, Theresa, Tell you a little bit about her. Theresa has been a student of Unity and Metaphysics for 20 years. I know her for hosting the Course of Love group and on Zoom, but she also worked in the Course of Miracles and a Law of Attraction. She follows Buddhism, homeopathy, and meditation. You have to ask her about her massage therapy and other alternative medical skills. She surely helped me with some pain issues just recently, and I've been able to sleep better since. So we'll start with Lord's Prayer by Dave, and then we'll give the floor to Theresa.
Now I'd like you to continue to relax in your seat and get ready for a meditation. Make sure that you're comfortable, that your arms and your legs are in a comfortable position. Take a few deep breaths. Go ahead and shift your attention to the noises in the room, any smells, the touch of your feet on the floor, your hands in your lap. Feel the air on your skin, the clothes on your body, relaxing deeper and deeper, breathing easily. And as you breathe, notice the air coming in through your nostrils, and then your tummy pushing it back out. Observe the air moving in and out again. You relax more and more, breathing with ease, calm and gentleness. Notice the muscles of your shoulders and back relaxing. The weight of your legs getting deeper and deeper into the seat of your chair. And with the next breath, visualize the muscles in your face relaxing completely. Continue breathing and continue relaxing all the parts of your body. Be aware that your mind is slowing down. Your nervous system is calming. And you are at peace mentally, physically, and energetically. I want you to acknowledge that at times uncertainties creep up inside of us. Now, how aware are you of the physical sensations that accompany these fears? As you breathe in a relaxed and gentle fashion, I would like you to recall a recent incident or situation that was unsettling. And where do you feel that? In what part of your body? Ancient philosophers would call this a pre-passion. What quality does that sensation have? As you continue to breathe, observe the sensation, just watching it without reaction. Any thoughts that might arise, let them come and go. Continue being the objective witnesser of the sensation in your body. Notice how you are not giving assent to the feeling. You're not qualifying it or making plans regarding it. Breathe and observe. Is that sensation shifting? Is it getting weaker? Notice that you're reserving agreement to this emotional uprising and instead allowing the passion to run its course. The source of your strength to be the observer in this way may come from knowing that in this current state of consciousness, you are unharmable. You are currently safe. Still breathing and observing. Notice also the equanimity that you have. You are observing the weight of your body in the seat. You are observing noise, and you are observing your sensations in your body with equanimity. And there is strength in this also. In spite of fearful beliefs that you took on innocently as a youth, someone in in your earlier vulnerable ages, in spite of these beliefs that gives rise to the angst that we sometimes feel, in spite of that, you are safe, you are breathing, and you are at peace. Notice the discrepancy between the peace you're experiencing and any physical sensation. You can experience spaciousness because you're the observer of the physical. Breathing with a sense of ease and awareness, you are calm, mindful attention. You are supported by the entire energy of all that is. You stand in this security, watching the spontaneous action of thought sensations arise, and you similarly watch each recede. Some thought strains and sensations may take longer to recede, but you are stronger in your spacious consciousness. Take another couple of deep breaths. And notice your spacious consciousness and prepare to open your eyes. And you do not have to lose this spacious consciousness as you open your eyes. And listen to other things going on around you. Hello, my name is Theresa. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for asking me to speak and speak about things that are on my mind and heart and in regards to what we aspire to here at Unity. I'm going to begin my talk today, which is titled, Are You an Actor or Are You a Character in the Play? I'm going to begin with a quote, and I want to ask you in a couple of minutes what you think of this quote. You may know the source of this quote, but I just want to know what you think of it. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. And as you might know, this was part of a play written by William Shakespeare. And by a show of hands, do you agree with the words of that quote? That all the world's a stage, and all the men and women are merely players. I would like to talk today about the word player or actor as it is referred to here in the quote. In particular, the concept of self. Daniel Ingram in the book Mastering the Core Teachings of the Buddha describes sense of self as having more or less 4 qualities. Sense of self, these are a typical traditional version of what a sense of self is. That you are separate from others, you independently are functioning, that the sense of self is localized in the body and permanent. We're entrained to these ideas throughout our childhood by well-meaning adults and authority figures. There are a bundle of mental beliefs that give rise to this more commonly accepted sense of self. One of them might be, each thought is chosen. So if we think of ourselves as our thoughts and our body, and that we have a sense that each thought is chosen, the opposite of this belief would be, or if you didn't buy into this belief, is that your thoughts arise voluntarily. A second belief is that I am the same self that exists throughout my life and my lifetime, throughout time and my lifetime. As it is put by Karsten Struhl in her article in Comparative Philosophy, it's as if there is some self-gluing that binds our mental and physical processes together over time. And how does this play out? Do you feel that there is a sense of continuity with these thoughts that come and go, these sensations that come and go? Now, the opposite of this belief, or if you didn't believe this belief, the other option would be consciousness can only exist in the present moment. So each thought is, if each thought is chosen versus they arise voluntarily, and the second belief, I'm the same self that exists throughout my lifetime, or consciousness can only exist in the present moment. The third belief that sustains or supports our commonly accepted sense of self is that there is coherence of all my self-generated thoughts and desires. Versus the opposite of that, or would be that, and I'm going to quote this Karsten Struhl again, what she says in her article in the Comparative Philosophy magazine is, perceptions, memories, and desires that are perceived as mine are part of a complex causal series. So she stated they're not cohesive, they're just part of a complex causal series. There are many interacting, and then she goes on to say, there are many interacting mental processes running simultaneously. She says in her article, which was over 100 pages, I did not read all of it, but bits and pieces of it. She says, the Buddhist reductionists maintain that what is conventionally called a person is in fact a causal series of impersonal, impermanent, psychophysical processes. The point of using the term person is a conventional designation that we have as a matter of social convention. It is a single term, a noun, referring to the totality of psychophysical processes which are causally related. We then assume that the use of the term person is assigned to a single entity, which is me or you. The fourth out of these 5 beliefs that kind of make up our commonly accepted sense of self is that I am in and of my body. So that it's an idea that I am localized in my body. I am in my brain, I am my body, and nothing beyond that. It is just this and this alone. Not believing this would be to believe that you are beyond your body or more than your body. And we know in science and quantum physics that everything is 99.99% energy. And so it is impossible to have a division between any two things or any two people because energy isn't fixed. And the fifth and last belief is that our wants, that we choose our wants, we choose what we want. And this was a difficult one for me, but, and I will go into that in a minute, but the opposite of that, if you do not believe that, is that your wants present themselves spontaneously. So those are the 5 beliefs talked about in an article that I had read and through bits and pieces that I read in Karsten Strohl's article. These 5 illusions, as it were, would have you believe that you are both the observer of thoughts and sensations and wants and not the generator. Oh, I'm sorry. These 5 illusions would have you believe that you're both the observer of them and the generator of them. And do you believe that to be true? That you generate and you choose each and every thought and sensation and want, or are you the observer of those things? So what triggered me most about these 5 beliefs, and did I believe they were illusionary or real, was the ones that I don't choose, or do I choose my wants. But when it was presented to me in a way, a different way that I'll share with you, then it did make me question whether I do choose them or not. So ask yourself, can you choose to not want something? Like, for instance, when we meditated or when we meditate and you want to not think because you enjoy the peace between the thoughts, you can say, I want to not, you can not want to think, but you can't actually cause that to happen. So you can't choose what you want. You want something, but it's like if you have to choose between chocolate ice cream and vanilla ice cream, you can want chocolate, but you can't make yourself want vanilla. you can maybe talk yourself out of it, but that would be your thoughts, and that would be a causal series of thoughts. But do you really have control over the wants or the thoughts? Likewise, can you not want something that you do want? So like it or not, it seems like, in my opinion, that wants are also out of our control, along with the sensations that we can get triggered with and the thoughts that seem to intrude our mind. Could we not also be observers of our wants then? So, for instance, last night while I was typing this speech up, I was noticing I was getting tired, but I wanted to finish typing it. I wanted it to be done. That's what I wanted. And then I decided to step back into my consciousness and observe that I was tired. I could observe from a conscious point of view, I could observe that I was both tired and wanting to continue. I could observe my want, which was to get closure on finishing the talk and the typing it up. So from a consciousness, and then I noticed that that I could, after I did that for a minute or two, that I was more relaxed, and then I went with my want of finishing it, but I was more, I was less tired because I had given attention to the tired part of myself in my body. And as it turned out, I've totally changed the last two paragraphs that I was typing. I probably should have stopped and listened to my body and gone to sleep, because I'm not using most of what I typed after I got tired. But isn't this like mentally being able to step away from the character roles that we give ourselves in a so-called play? That this earth plane may be presented as being what it is, or what the Shakespeare quote alludes to. If we step away from the character role, like for me last night, that I'm a speaker and I have to be prepared and blah, blah, blah. If I just step away, that I am not someone who's going to give a speech tomorrow. Instead, I am consciousness, having this want, having this fear or angst. If I'm not prepared, something bad will happen. Having tiredness, having a physical body. But if I am the consciousness, I can step away from that and wait a minute, am I just the actor? Am I just the energy that animates the body? So in practicing this point of view, as I have been doing the last couple of weeks, of observing my thoughts, my wants, and the sensations that involuntarily come up, I have found that I have an expanded capacity to accept things, accept people, and accept situations, circumstances, just as they are. This new perspective, when I can remember to use it, gives me a simple and quick alternative to assigning the knowledge in my head to the situation. It's so easy to assign from the idea of being in the story, in the play, or in the movie, so to speak, assigning what's supposed to happen by the script that I'm used to hearing and that I'm used to seeing going on around me. So when I remember, it's a quick alternative to get away from assigning knowledge or judging. Because thoughts, wants, and sensations are out of other people's control as well, then how or why would I condemn them? So using this practice has allowed me to not even have the need to forgive them if I don't judge. It forces me to stay conscious. It is now becoming the first step in being present and a first step before giving a response in a situation. If I can remember who I am not. So I would like to hear your thoughts and perspectives or any experience that you might have, even if you, in this short period while I've been talking, tried to apply that to something or other. Open to anybody.
I think at some very early age, when I was about 12 or 13, I started going to a lot of movies. I had 3 paper routes, so I had the Spirit Changed, and I grew up in Petoskey. They had 3 theaters, and sometimes in a week's time, I'd go to every single movie they had. So as I read about how do they make movies, and well, I'm a Leo, so obviously I wanted the top jobs. I would like to be a director. I'd like to be the producer, and I'd like to be involved in writing the script. And at some early age, I decided why not plan your life around where you're doing all the roles, and you can make yourself the star and then choose the characters that appear in your movie. So I kind of had a vision of what I wanted to do in life, and pretty much it followed the script. I left Petoskey, went to college down in East Lansing, and to me, where it's fun is that to me the movie is kind of always a project in process. Like if you choose characters and you don't like the direction they're going, then you lay them off and choose other characters. And so it always is being open. The plot is always changing. Like an obstacle is just something that didn't work out, try something else. And so that as you become the actor, sometimes one role that you took, I don't like this. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be a clerk in the store. I don't want to work in the factory. Well, what other role would you like? Well, I guess I'll be a businessman. And that worked out pretty well. And so as you're hiring employees, they're opening in your play, and you kind of write the script and the things you want them to do. And other people do give you feedback, and sometimes you have to modify your script. So I found that Shakespeare, I thought, had a very sound idea for me that worked quite well.
Theresa, that was a great talk. And I can so much relate to that because I've looked at it before, like we don't know it and we don't realize it or admit it, but every time we meet somebody, we automatically create how we perceive them. And I call them caricatures because we automatically, I think, go to the so-called imperfections. And I was thinking when you were talking that about if you were the director and you were choosing what to write, what do you do when you see the script kind of getting away from you? And I thought, well, I don't have control over them, and I know I can rewrite it. But it came to mind that you can have 2 directors and 1 actor. And depending on what the director has experienced, they will want something different probably from the actor, even though, I mean, it's each their own script, but it's a matter of, I realize I can't control how the other director might want that actor to act, but I can control how I see the actor portraying what I had in my script. I can choose what I feel when I see the actor. In other words, if we just pay attention to our own script, that is where we have the power, because that is where we have the great ultimate gift of choice. And we can choose our attitude at any moment, every second. I can choose to change that caricature into a portrait, a beautiful picture of the soul. Thank you.
I was noticing that as I pull back into consciousness, that I become more of a unifier, that there's an equalness to all the characters. So there's a unifying quality to coming back into consciousness, to just being the observer, the witnesser. So it somehow energetically seems to unify all the energies of all the people that in the room or in the situation. And somehow that has some synergy that produces something better or greater or more wonderful. And so it's kind of an unspoken act or presence. And I guess that's what I think as presence, and it has timelessness and no distance. It's not a local kind of thing. Yeah. That's what I liked about it.
Yeah, I like the, I guess I was interpreting it as when times are hard and you have an angst in your thinking, something you can't let go. With practice, I'm able to just allow it, just let it flow by. And in that moment, I also have this feeling that I'm growing to learn to trust that everything happens in the right time. And even when we feel hurt by another person and we feel them as something separate to us, it's all part of the plan. And so I think my belief, my faith, my sense of knowing that we're all okay, even if we are only seeing one piece of the elephant, as it were, in the world. So it feels to me like maybe someone mentioned, I can't remember which one of us, this feeling of there being two things going on. I think there is this reaction to an emotional level, and we have to allow it, address it, and find something better to want. And so when I'm in a situation where there's nothing I can do about it, first I have to ask myself, is there anything I'm supposed to do about it? And do it if I can. And if there's nothing I can do about it, I have to allow it. I have to let it go. And when I do that, I am learning to believe and trust. The trust is so important, that there is a perfect way and everything is in order, no matter what it looks like. And as I do that, I'm shifting my want. I'm kind of shifting it to, I want it to be love. I want it to be peaceful. And I'm in doing that, I am one with everyone. And it's amazing what you find. When you need it, you find this work. You attract it to you.
Yeah, I think there is something about that attraction. Like if you shift something, I think everything has a frequency. And so when you step back into being consciousness, like you say, you're allowing, you can't control it, what's going on, you just accept it. That somehow shifts you into a higher frequency, which allows you this more expansive options to be attracted to you. Where if you're in a lower frequency of fear and whatever, then you have a more limited amount of what you're attracting. But when you relax and you get into a higher frequency, then that opens up more possibilities that are gonna feel better, that are gonna be better, that are gonna be a higher vibration for everybody in the situation.
Yeah, and I think if one person has that, and even in this group, or in those that are listening, it elevates the whole picture. That's the really wonderful thing about it.
Yeah.
When you get into the one source, in my mind, that we all are part of, if one part raises, then we all head towards those things that feel better instead of finding a way to get lower and lower and focusing on lower, you know what I mean? Focusing on the worst thing that can happen for, you know, whatever, and hanging on to it.
Right. Hi, I'm Shannon. I'm so grateful to be here. You have no idea. I didn't realize what an imprint you guys left on me, and I'm grateful. I can relate to this so much because I'm working as a recovery coach in a lot of like vulnerable situations where who I show up as really depends on how the day's gonna go. And I noticed that some of the clients that we have, people will have other experiences with, but like I choose to see them in their divinity. I choose to see them in their light. So where they have problems, I'm like, can't relate, because if we step to everybody in their divinity, then they're gonna step to you right back in that, because that frequency is more powerful and they will have no choice. So thank you. That word came right on time. And again, I'm just forever grateful for each and every one of you.
When I think of all the world as a stage, I think in terms of each incident or interaction that I have, each place that I am socially or when I'm around others or having a conversation, etc. I try to consciously be aware of myself, observe myself. When I don't, I'm more or less going to come through as a very human self, and I see that I am a blended of spirit and human. And it's easy to be caught in choosing actions and responding to moods, et cetera, from my very human self, which sometimes doesn't bring the result I want for who I am. So I try to choose on that stage to be conscious and choose to listen to my more spiritual or higher self and bring that energy to it. So like others have talked about, that brings me in presenting a mood and a clarity from my best self. And that energy interacts with the energy of others. And it does sometimes, not always, influence outcomes or the energy in a situation. But for myself, I see that I have the constant choice on my stages of who I'm going to be, how I'm going to act, which emotions I'm going to respond to. And that it's a constant growing thing for me. And I do think that it influences and can affect positively others just by myself and my energy being an uplifted one. Not that this is a practice, let me clarify. This is not a success story. This is an ongoing experience and effort. So thank you.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you talk about life being a stage. I certainly wasn't conscious of that until much into the mature part of my life. The early part of my life felt like life is something that happens to people, more of the probably more like the victim role. And then at a certain point, through the help of unity and standard therapy, that was my intervention, because I knew that there had to be another viewpoint, another way of living. So now I believe that I'm more at choice about what's happening every day. And like Christine said, I really try to look at how I can contribute to a situation. And sometimes, like Virginia, just let something slide by, not give it attention when great chaos hits and thinks, oh, how could I do things differently? So I appreciate what you've stated in the different aspects of it, because it clarifies something that I hadn't perceived like that.
And I wonder, you mentioned choice, and this whole Buddhist kind of thing of a non-self and non-duality is really about sort of like choices out of our control. But I feel like if, maybe from what you said, it got me thinking that if we are in a higher consciousness, if we're stepping back into just our pure consciousness, then it's like we have more choice. There is just choice like in consciousness kind of go together. It's an aspect or an essence of being in consciousness, but it's not like something that we have control of. It's just a feeling, like a visceral type of ability, like a sixth sense kind of thing or something that you're not limited. It's like the opposite of feeling limited. It's like opportunity abounds. Maybe it's about abundance.
Okay. I don't really have anything much to add. This is Claire, by the way. I'm joining from college. But it was really nice to come back and join the service today. And you guys did a really great job. I loved listening in.
Yeah, good morning. This is Leslie. Just wanted to say it's good to see you all. It's a beautiful day, and I've enjoyed listening this morning. I don't really have anything to add to the comments. I'm just taking it in.
Thank you, Theresa. It was a beautiful lecture and talk. And I know a lot of it flew past me because I don't have nearly the depth of knowledge that you have with all these topics. But it was nice to hear then the reflections on everyone else. And it just kept bringing me back to my craft of music. And I deal with students all the time, at various stages. And it made me think, each of us on our journey through life is at various stages as well. And it's having that faith to take a step forward in their craft of music or in their craft of spirituality or in their craft of dealing with life's problems or fears that I think draws upon your choices and opportunities. I'm not really quite sure, but just sort of having that kind of, so each of us, it seems like is always making that choice depending upon where they are and how they want to create either a better piece of music or a better spiritual state or a better just emotional state for themselves. Yeah, I think it's just having those choices that allows us to make our stage a better place. So So I want to thank you for putting those thoughts in my head and letting me process them. Thank you.
You had said, I find intriguing, you said as one increases their, gets higher consciousness means more awareness. So if, let's say you move from awareness 1 up to awareness 10, and you look around the landscape, and now there's 1,000 more things that you weren't aware of. Have you found that people, when they arrive there, now fear kicks in because this is a lot to deal with and they didn't have to deal with all these choices before. So I know you are into the Course in Love, where you deal with love and fear as opposite poles. Have you found that people then have to then deal with new fears? Oh, I didn't know. How do I solve this problem I wasn't aware of before?
Yeah, I'm kind of glad you brought that up because another even deeper aspect of all of this is this aspect there isn't choice. If mentally we left God, if mentally we're astray and afraid and feeling separate, but God's love and energy is bigger than all of that, his consciousness, love's consciousness overrides these sensations, these mental trips that we go on collectively or individually. If hit that, I feel like it's kind of like a magnet, then we're already, they say that there is no time. So if we leave God, so to speak, and we come back to God all in an instant, sort of thing, it's almost like the divine plan. We talk about that in unity, divine plan and all is in divine order. Then there's really no choice. The only thing you have to do is step back and not be part of the problem, not be part of the drama, not be part of the separation. So you're just stepping back, and love, the energy, when you're in that unified field, it does the work. There is no choice. There is no director. That is the direction is the love energy. There doesn't have to be a plan or a choice. You're just letting love energy do its thing. So it's kind of what law of attraction is like, that kind of whole concept is you just step back. So, and then there was something that Dave brought up about conscious, what people's choices, like type of music or their mood or how they're feeling. Something else that came up in relation to how do we deal with other people is something I read recently. And it caught my attention. It said, it's the bear's job to bite you. So this is the idea that at everybody's consciousness level, wherever they're at, it's that job, that consciousness level's job to show itself. It's the bear's job to bite you. It's everybody's job to be their life force coming through them at that particular time. That's not a problem. That's not a bad thing. It is just what it is. And then it goes on to say that it's the universe's loan to rise you up in your consciousness level. You're on the stage, in that scene for a reason, to rise your vibrational level up, because that's part of the divine plan, and you just kind of roll with it. And then, let it go then once you've received that lesson. And then Marcus Aurelius, he was a king a long time ago, but this is part of Stoicism. Anyhow, this is a neat quote. And he said, say to yourself in the early morning, I shall meet today ungrateful, violent, treacherous, envious, uncharitable men. All of these things have come upon them through ignorance of real good. I can neither be harmed by any of them, for no man will involve me in wrong, nor can I be angry with any of my kinsmen or hate them, for we have come into the world to work together. So I just feel like that's kind of more of this play thing in a different angle too. We've come to work out of this lower vibration, and we have to do it together.
I just wanted to say something real quick. Nobody can make us feel bad without our permission. We've heard that over and over and over again. And I guess we just have to keep that in mind. Nobody can make you feel negative in any way without your permission. Thank you.
We can sing along with David's playing of the peace song, and then together the prayer for protection. Surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. And now